Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to be taking a look here at FUBO TV stock. Now this is one that we have traded very frequently in the past, but unfortunately over the last few days they have been cooling off. So I want to talk about exactly what my price targets are with FUBO TV stock, essentially what I'm going to be trading over the next few days with this company, and what I really think is the future for this company. What am I watching for them to do in order to know whether their price will continue growing, if we can expect more of a sell-off, or what exactly is going to be happening with FUBO over the next few days, and especially coming out of this earnings report. Now guys, the reason why I didn't talk about FUBO immediately following the earnings is because I wanted to wait and see what happened with this market sell-off. Now, as you can see, the market seems to be rebounding here very slightly over the last few hours and coming out of Friday of last week. So guys, there is a great opportunity for the market to bounce here and a lot of stocks to start recovering, especially some revenue names like FUBO, where they did make earnings revenue negative, but fortunately they are a great growing company, so that's going to be putting them in a position to continue growing even though they may have reported some negative earnings. And it's the same way with Jumia here. So exactly, I want to show you what I'm watching here with this stock FUBO as far as their earnings, what they need to do to get themselves back in a growing position, but also what I'm seeing here on the chart that is making me very bullish of a breakout happening on FUBO within the next few weeks. So I want to alert you guys to this setup that I'm watching on FUBO, and I want to let you guys know essentially what the minimum price here is going to be for that setup and what I'm going to be watching to know whether we will get a breakout on FUBO TV stock and whether this will be one of the most growing names on the stock market again when we do try to test our price target of $40. So if you do remember in the past, guys, we set a minimum price of around $23 a share, and that's when I called out in the Discord that FUBO was going to be one of the best long-term buys that you could consider on the stock market here at around 23 a share. But as you can see, they now hit all the way to our price target of 40, back and then back again. So this stock has had no lack of potential and no lack of trading opportunities for us to really take advantage of here over the last few weeks. And we need to respect that now that the stock is down, it may take some time for it to start moving again. So that's one thing that we're going to have to watch out for in the future with FUBO. It's going to be a name where if they can't come to make positive earnings, then that's going to seem to be very negative for the stock overall, and it's going to be something that we want to watch as investors coming into the future. So I want to get more specific about the financials with FUBO TV, and I want to talk to you guys about exactly what happened in this earnings that made the stock sell off so greatly. Alright guys, so when talking about the financials here of FUBO TV, it is going to be very critical to know that this is still a growing company, and as with other growing companies here on the stock market, they do not make a positive earnings. Now I am not excusing the company for not making a positive earnings. Obviously that is very detrimental to the long-term success of any company, but it is very possible for a company to be unprofitable at first and then end up being profitable as a result of a very strong idea. And I think that that's exactly what's going to be happening with FUBO TV over the next year, and especially coming into 2022 when a lot of people know about this stock and when a lot more people get exposure to what FUBO TV exactly is. Now I do know a lot of people in my own personal life that hear about FUBO TV and decide to switch over immediately because they are some huge sport fans and they aren't interested in regular cable TV or a lot of the other channels that are just filler that usually come with Dish TV, Direct TV, etc. And that's why a lot of people would consider watching FUBO. It sounds like a lot of their user base has to do with sport fans who tend to watch the sport for multiple hours of the day. Now, talking about three critical numbers that you need to know with FUBO TV stock, these are basically going to be the indicators of whether or not the company is still growing or whether or not the earnings were good or bad. And those three numbers are going to be revenue, subscribers, and net loss. Now guys, like I said, FUBO is a growing company, so their net loss is going to be large and it's going to be prevalent in their balance sheet as a result of their growth and as a result of the fact that they are simply not able to produce a product right now that is profitable with the amount of clients that they have on their service. Now that being said, they did have revenue of $105 million, and that was substantially higher than the same quarter last year of 2020. It was almost a 70% increase, and that's going to be something pretty substantial here, that not only their costs are increasing their loss, but also their revenue, and they are making more money with more subscribers. And that's another thing, guys. They had almost 550,000 subscribers on their service this quarter. Now, they did report that they might lose around 5% of their subscribers as a result of some season-based switching and a lot of people that don't watch some sports in certain seasons, but there's going to be a lot to look forward to with this company in the future. And one of the main reasons why I think that they can get out of this hole that they are in with revenue and with their negative earnings is going to be the gambling. And one of the main reasons why I did get into this play was because of the gambling side of their business. Now, like I said, a lot of the people who do employ FUBO TV to watch sports and who use this channel to basically get around the other stuff, the normal channels, the drama channels, etc., TV channels, they basically want to get a better sport experience. And with FUBO TV, one of the exciting things that they want to offer is going to be a gambling service that goes along with their TV service. So if you are just casually watching a show on FUBO TV, you're watching a sport, and then you want to gamble on that sport, they want to make it very accessible and easy for the average person to take advantage of this gambling service. And I think that ultimately this will be worth more than 170 million in revenue. I think that the company will be able to turn a profit once this service does come into play. So that's going to be something that basically needs to happen with FUBO TV stock if we are going to see some explosive growth on the company coming into 2022, 2023, etc. Now, the company has not announced a very clear time frame on when this may be happening, but I have to let you know that once this does happen, it's going to be one of the biggest things that FUBO TV can basically get as a piece of news, and one of the most bullish things that will be happening for FUBO within the next few weeks. Now, switching over to some technical analysis here, I want to show you exactly why I'm so excited for FUBO TV stock and why I think that there is a lot of potential going forward with this company. Now, usually I trade just based here on the chart and some volume, and usually I try to stay away from a lot of indicators or PE ratios, etc., because it just makes it overcomplicated for the average trader to be looking at so much financial data and so many extra things with a company that we already know is making negative earnings, and we are in this company for more the idea than really the earnings that they are producing right now. But with FUBO TV, I want to show you exactly why it is a good time to buy right now at $28, and why the fact that this last earnings, they did make a huge amount of extra revenue, why that's going to be substantial for the company here going forward, and why the $28 price tag now is a lot more oversold than back when the company was at $28 over here. So guys, as you may know, I try to stay away from using tricky technicals and weird indicators to show you on the chart, and that is one of the main things that I like to stick to with the channel. I like to keep it as simple as possible and as easy to understand for any everyday investor. And with FUBO TV, I think it is absolutely critical to understand price to earnings ratio in order to know why the stock is such a good buy at $29, and especially why it's such a good buy at $29 now as compared to the $29 we were seeing back in January. And this might sound counterintuitive, guys, but the company is a lot cheaper right now than it was all the way back in January of this same year. And one of the main reasons for that is going to be the price to earnings ratio and what this company has shown us as far as revenue. Now, if you do remember a couple of seconds ago when I was showing you that revenue, they were making almost 70% more revenue this year than they were the same time last year. And how that is going to be significant for the company is that it's going to make it less overvalued overall. And when a stock's revenue increases, even if the earnings are at a negative and at a loss, it is still going to help the company be more valued and be more at a reasonable price than if the earnings didn't happen. And that's exactly what has happened with FUBO TV stock. So the price to earnings ratio is essentially a meter or a metric of how overvalued a company is based on their last earnings report. And as you can see with FUBO TV here, if we do come to the financials tab, now guys, this is on TradingView.com, absolutely a free platform, which is going to be linked in the description down below if you want to check it out for your own technical analysis. But right now, all I'm doing is coming here to the top left, the financials tab, and I'm going to be typing in earnings here when the pop-up does show up. And it's going to be the first thing to basically show up here in the box. Price to earnings ratio, this ratio of how overvalued a company is based on their earnings. Now, back when the company was at $60 a share, you can see how financially overvalued they were and how much they were basically trading at a multiple of almost 50 times their earnings. Now, at this price, it is hard to justify FUBO as a buy, and that was one of the main reasons why I told you guys to wait for the dip with this company. Now, ultimately, they dipped extremely heavy, almost back from around $50 or 50 times their earnings, all the way till around 4 or even 3 times their earnings, which is a substantially smaller amount than 50x. Now you guys can see that FUBO did come back all the way till around $52 a share, but very, very recently they have sold off to $29 a share, meaning that the price to earnings ratio is all the way down at 2x their earnings. And what this basically shows is that the company is extremely undervalued at their current price. Now, one of the main reasons that we can know this is because of other companies in the similar market and other companies that are also growing at a similar rate. Now, if we consider Jumia, they have a price to earnings ratio of almost 40x. With Apple, they have a price to earnings ratio of 14x. And there is a lot of other companies that we could talk about with a higher price to earnings ratio than FUBO TV right now. And that's one of the main things that is making me bullish that this company does have some more room to the upside. And usually when a company gets hit with hype or when there is excitement around a certain name, especially FUBO TV stock, we can see multiples of 10x being hit very, very easily and very, very quickly. So I wouldn't be surprised if FUBO was ready to make a move and if this price held as a minimum for the very short term with FUBO TV stock. Now, like I explained in the beginning of this video, there is a very specific chart pattern here building on FUBO TV that is making me extremely bullish on what could be happening here over the next few weeks for this company. And one of the main reasons why I'm taking a long-term position here at the $29 a share mark with FUBO TV is going to be this trading setup. So without further ado, guys, I want to show you the wedge here building on FUBO TV stock. And a lot of you guys may remember that we did trade wedges only a few weeks back here on the channel, but with this market sell-off, there hasn't been a lot to talk about, but I do want to show you guys this one that is massively setting up on FUBO TV, and I do think that the price minimum for this wedge is going to be around $29. So exactly what I expect FUBO to do is bounce like a ball on a table. At first, it's going to make a large bounce, smaller, until it gets to the edge of this wedge here. And once it does get to the edge of the wedge, I think that it is going to be ready to rip and absolutely massively tear all the way till around my price target of 40, but especially to a new price target I'm setting on FUBO at around $50 a share. So guys, ultimately that is going to be what I'm watching with FUBO. If they can break out of this triangle, or if they can even set up continuously in this triangle, then I'm going to be continuously bringing you guys videos talking about when the breakout moment will be coming for FUBO. Now, right now, I am identifying $29 as the minimum price for this company, and it is no coincidence that the company did not reach down to lows at around $23 a share. Even when the rest of the market was selling off yesterday, this company stayed very consistently around $29 a share. So that is going to be one of the main reasons why I'm bullish on this wedge breaking out, and why I think that this wedge is ultimately forming to break out within the next few weeks. So that's going to be one of the main reasons to check out FUBO TV stock. Please keep your eye on this wedge, as you can get an extremely good entry right now at around the $29 a share mark, which is where I picked up my shares for the long term with FUBO. So again, guys, this is going to be an unmissable opportunity with FUBO TV, where they are unfortunately undervalued again by the market, and that's when we have to take our opportunity to strike here, guys, with FUBO TV. So if you enjoyed the play we made last time for almost double the return, 200% return, make sure you smash that like button, guys, because I will have more FUBO TV updates coming very soon. Other companies that you guys really like, Neo, Palantir, AMD, etc. So as always, guys, if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to smash like down below and subscribe. But as always, I hope all your plays are in the green.